Sonic has a lot of creepy moments spanning his long career as a video game icon. One of the darker early Sonic games was Sonic CD, that was released for the Sega CD. The creepy inclusions in this game were the creepy music, story premise, and having one of the most infamous Easter eggs in all of video games. Sonic CD spanned the whole creepy spectrum in one game. In the year of 1993, Sonic CD was released on the Sega CD, which was a CD-ROM attachment for the Sega Genesis. The game went on to be the best-selling game on the Sega CD, selling over 1.5 million copies. The story of the game was the most elaborate in the franchise at the time of release, and featured both Metal Sonic and Dr. Robotnik as antagonists. A tiny planet that appears for 1 month out of the year hangs in orbit above Never Lake. The island is home to the Time Stones, which can be used to control the passage of time. When Sonic arrives, the planet is being chained to the side of a mountain by Dr. Robotnik, so he can use the Time Stones to control time and take over the world. The most interesting aspect of the story is the time travel element. Sonic could travel to the past, the good future, or the bad future. Each changed the level design in different ways that made some paths accessible and others not, which could make certain levels much harder or much easier depending on the time period. The bad futures of many of the levels had them turn into war zones, industrial apocalypses, or polluted wastelands. It was very bleak and dark for a Sonic game, a game designed for a younger audience. There were good futures as well, but those didn't outweigh these dark futures. In some instances, you could see glimpses of Metal Sonic abusing the animals as he raced by. The visuals in each level were creepy, but where the true creepiness came in was with the music. The music came in two variations, the English version and the Japanese version. In the Japanese version, many of the upbeat songs from the original stages were taken and twisted from their original upbeat nature, and turned into something that sounded more sinister. For example, the music from Palm Tree Panic can be upbeat and happy in the good future, and like this in the bad future. The happy yeah at the beginning of the song is now drowned out by metallic sounds. It sounds almost like low groaning, like those who were so happy in the other future are now in constant torment in this future. Possibly one of the biggest shifts is between the good and bad futures of Tidal Tempest. The music is so upbeat and happy in the good future, it almost sounds like you are walking in paradise, while in the bad future you have the complete opposite. The harsh tones mixed with a major sense of urgency makes it feel like Sonic is running out of time, or already has. Bad future in this level is also the one that faces the most pollution, which makes the urgency of the song feel a lot more real. And mix that with the red polluted water during the boss fight with Robotnik, and you have the perfect backdrop for a creepy level. There is a song in the Japanese version that has lyrics that seem to be taunting the player. That level is Metallic Madness. The song itself is about the same in terms of creepiness as the others, but the laughter of the antagonists mixed with the lyrics saying, "You can't do anything, so don't even try. Get some help. Don't do what Sonic does," and possibly the creepiest part, "Sonic, dead or alive, is mine." Now the US versions, in my opinion, took the creepy vibe and cranked it up a notch. The tunes for the bad futures took on this haunting vibe to let the player know what they could expect if they couldn't fix the bad futures. Going back to Palm Tree Panic, again there's the Japanese bad future. And here's the English version. The difference between the two songs is immediately heard in the overall tone. The music is more dark and urgent in the Japanese version, while it's more sad and haunting in the US version. They took Tidal Tempest and made it rather depressing sounding compared to the rest of the song, adding in some weird huff noises and some distant guitar, mimicking the sound of people crying out in pain. The song is once again more haunting rather than dark and urgent, making it sound like Sonic is failing his friends and those who are depending on him. Fort's Quadrant Zone is definitely one of my favorite darker tunes. It has guitars like the title Tempest, and it gives off this feeling of despair. The final stage song I want to talk about is Stardust Speedway. The melody is very dark, but it fits the tone and urgency of what the Japanese versions were using. The music has dark industrial sound effects in the background that remind the player of what the future can be unless Sonic does something. The music in both versions are very dark and creepy in their own ways, but the US version did take the cake in one way. The game over music in this game was terrifying. The disturbing pipe organs blaring, the minor tune, and the distorted laughter as Sonic fails to complete his mission really drives home that sense of defeat. The final piece of music I want to talk about is the boss theme. This music should sound familiar to anyone who has been on YouTube long enough to remember the rise of creepypastas. It was used in so many videos that I can't even remember them all. The song is very creepy and chaotic, which makes the boss fights feel more crazy. The last part of this game I wanted to talk about is the infamous Easter egg. Fun is infinite. If you go into the secret sound test room and you input FM number 46, PCM number 12, and DA number 25, and press start, you'll be greeted with this image. The creepy looking Sonics will flood the screen with the boss theme playing in the background. The words on the screen say "Fun is Infinite" by Sega Enterprises, and at the bottom it's signed by Majin or the devil himself. This is by far one of the creepiest Easter eggs to be in a Sonic game. So many channels covered this Easter egg and why it was included. Some said it was supposed to be Mario's face on Sonic's body, but it just looks like this distorted creature with a blank gaze staring at the player. The creepy music didn't help the matter either. This Easter egg helped keep Sonic CD relevant over the years as people discuss the meaning and creepiness behind the image. There's a lot more creepiness in the Sonic franchise, but I think I'll save that for another video.